Today I'm going to answer some questions that one of my viewers had about the diet, which is high carb, high fruit, low fat, low protein, high raw, high vegan. The first question is about fructose. Fruit is like half fructose, and it's the fructose that goes to the liver, but because of that it doesn't get processed the way that sucrose does, and therefore it doesn't get used by the muscles, so it gets stored as fat. Of course, because what else could happen? That's their type of thinking. That's what they want people to think. Let's see, one of the problems with the fructose beliefs are based upon studies, and most studies are done in a laboratory using refined ingredients, and it was true for this case. They're not using fruit, they're not studying fruit. These studies are done with high fructose corn syrup, refined and collected from corn. It's also genetically modified, and then they just pour this into animals or beakers or something. And what do you expect? No fiber, no food. Just this one substance. This is how they make drugs. And drugs are designed to manipulate the body to cause something unnatural to happen. And that's the way modern medicine works. So it's usually the case with these studies. Right from the point of conception, so the burden of proof is still on them because they really haven't made their case, because they did not test under natural conditions. Now, natural conditions, we're talking fruit. Fruit is all over the planet, and fructose is a natural substance in fruit. Now let's look at people who eat a lot of fruit. That's all you can do. I've been eating about, say, 13 pieces a day since going back to 1994. And then in 2008, I increased that, maybe about 18 servings. There's no problem with doing that. What there is a problem with, I turn this around and people say, it's too much fruit. Well, if you're not eating this amount of fruit, then you're eating something else. Any other source of calories is going to be from a food that's not as natural as fruit. But if for some reason that wasn't convincing enough for you, I can put up a couple of scientific links. But that's just not as fun. So the next question that I want to cover is a good segue. Let's see, the person wrote, let's see, oh yes, this person has just come off of the Paleo diet. The fructose propaganda comes from the same place that the Paleo diet comes from. Our physiology is designed for fructose and not for too much fat, cholesterol, all that stuff. You see, humans are vegans by nature. A lot of vegans and vegetarians, they don't believe this. They went all the way to vegan and still believe in the brainwashing that they were taught by this society Next question, what do you think of higher intakes of protein? Any benefits, or is it dangerous? At some point, it does become dangerous, would leach minerals from your body, bone. The amount of protein I eat is about 55 grams on average, maybe 50 is an average. It can get down to 35 if I just eat fruits, 35 grams per day. When I include some grains, it gets up to maybe 60, which is still really safe. I can double the amount of protein that I need, and that's still safe. Now, if you were to get over 80 grams of protein a day, that would probably cause some problems for you. And that would disrupt all the body's processes. Okay, the last question, and it's a challenging one, because I rarely hear people talk about this. So the letter goes, I'm currently recovering from a disaster of a paleo diet, and I've gained unwanted fat. So knowing just how vigilant I should be on lowering fats while I eat a more carb normal diet. I like that one. Could you steer me in the right direction as to how I should structure my diet to recover from this? I was eating moderate fats, high protein, led me to a big crash in mood, energy. I don't know if you're talking about transitioning, not sure what you mean by structuring, but yeah, when people promote a diet, they just say, do this diet. But I believe in a slow transition. I've always transitioned slow. For 20 years I've been changing my diet, and it's worked pretty well. But I have heard one diet where it was recommended that you introduce carbs slowly, and that sounds like a safe way to go. So let's say you were eating 50% fat. Right now you should drop that down to 35%, and then maybe stay there for a week before you're going down to like 25%. Stay there for a week. You don't want to stay too long in this transitional period, though. That's the tricky thing about getting off a paleo diet. It's tough to get out of it. It's really like going into debt. How do you get out? Because when you're eating moderate fat and carbs, that's not good for you. That's the kind of thing that causes diabetes. So don't stay too long in the transition. Then from 25%, go down to 20, and a little more of this letter. I know whole grains and other foods have some reasonable level of fat in them. I'm somewhat fond of eating almonds and other seeds. I was wondering what you consider a reasonable amount, grams or ratio, of fat to carbs. Well, once you get down to 20% fat, I think you can stay there for many months without it being harmful. But ultimately, after a few months at 20%, you do want to get down to 15, no more than 15%, to stay at for your life. And that diet you stay at your whole life. You ultimately want it to serve the purpose of getting your body to trust you, and that you will always be giving it what it wants, which is plenty of calories, carbs, a small amount of healthy fats. The protein's always going to be there if the calories are there, so you don't have to worry about that. And vitamins and minerals, which you'll be getting plenty of with ripe, raw, fresh fruits and vegetables. Just happen to have a rare cassava melon here. It's a September fruit in California. It's hard to get it any other place or time. Anyway, all fruits packed with vitamins and minerals. And you keep on eating as much as you want to eat. Don't stop because you think you've had enough. Stop because you just don't feel like eating anymore. And your body will then just get rid of all the excess because it won't need it anymore. Also go slow with fruit. Increase slowly. Best time to have fruit is at the first part of the day. Then lunch and dinner you move on to grains, beans, vegetables, and keep the fat, nuts and seeds at the end of the day, dinner time. And weight loss is what will ultimately happen, but people should be aware that sometimes you will gain weight in the beginning, especially if you're coming off of paleo, where you've lost a lot of weight, and that's superficial weight. A lot of it's water, and just weight loss from not eating enough, which is going to happen. You will ultimately gain that weight back, and then have to lose it again. This time, you'll be losing it the right way. So I hope I have covered everything. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to ask them. Also, everyone leave comments below and give this video a thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you in a couple of days.